Sangye Chedan Zaki Chanam
Janju Bardo Dani Japson Nagi Jinzo Yebe Sanam Ki Lola Benje Sangye Dubara Shu Sangye Chedan Zoye Chanam Janju Bardo Dani Japson Nagi Jinzo Yebe Sanam Lola Benje Sangye Dubara Shu Sangye Chedan Zoye Zonam La Janju Bardo Dani Yapson Nagi Jinzo Yebe Sonam Ge Lola Benje Sangye Dubara Shu. From now until enlightenment, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. And by the merit created in this practice, may I attain the state of Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. From now until enlightenment, we take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. And by the merit created in this practice, may I attain the state of Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. From now until enlightenment, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. And by the merit created in this practice, for the benefit of all sentient beings.
Wada kesan yujengin dezu deni ma ji juina. Ta yujendela kaza sheba tos chine ani demi duche dikube ta kaje kaza chi demi duche dikube yujenche ani sheba chi tos chine yongware. Indita Kaza Sidugala, the Midiki, Eugene Kaza Sidugala, thank you, Karela, Kaza, in a condition, Kaza Sigore. Any Sidugala, Raji Pumbo, Lateni, Jiam, Malateni, Tap and Majila, Kaza Sigore, Otatu Sigore. Raji Pumbo Gila Tap and Made, Zume Kamade, Tenjen Kaza Tegede, Raji Pumbo Gila Tebenga. Tapenga. The Badan, Zukam Batezo, Rajipu Mala Tapenga, what to share. Sazan, in a Pagi Chick Ko, Tadun Salna, Dirizede, Zugutusa, Gunimendegi. In Pumbo taught Samjila, any Kazase, Penam, Migi, Mi Sidigala Kandiside, Mi Zupung. Any pay Pumbungayore, Pumbungade, any Chozamjilla, any Misia, Masia. What do you that Pagi Tundaza and around making me the Padala, but I tell them, Woman Juvena, Chitariala Chanamla, finishing the Javain, says so Najin Jede. When I Shindasia there, Pagi Sindona, Shinda Kolo Shindaribe, Shindagabagi, Jombaz on the Shindaribe. Those Sindona, Shindara am never. Ganga so Sobalateni, any Shindazade, Mirina, de Shindazade, Jetubia, any Shinde winning, Shinde Chavachetubia, but that in the year in some, any Shinda Jaganajinji, mean Pumbu, Jiam Tabengalateni, any Pumungalateni Tabengadela, any Mrs. Jachoya, what a dusini, Sungora, or that day, Chambuch Tungorta, Uma Tangi. Yanze, that Tumden and Yanze, Chundan the Gombar Bageta, searching in the Gomba Tardude, what a day to the Indicala, Pagi, Tini Rangu, Megang, Zerdu, Marathon, Nansul Pagnichi, Yen the Visit, Nangiode, Nansul Teranajin, your Marinas, Yathan Tajiore, said the Lagorva. Any pay, youth, Nansul Pagilan, you're not Candizano, Master Pagni two took the ending, Ranguni ending. Korang winning the money in the Nangior, the Omarwa, you imagine that. Harden, Mindang, Rasamgi, you fancy less Sunguari. Tendelgi, what are they? Tendel Nani, Tendel Tamu, Mindi Tendel, the Tendel Tash of the Chadio. What that? The Tendel Tewangi, you fancy, what that is Sunguaris.
So we are going through the high school, middle way, consequence school, And to review what we covered last Sunday, we went through the assertion regarding object possessors or subjects. If you have a book, that's on page 307, last paragraph. And under that, assertion regarding subjects, middle way consequence schools explains or define, or what person is and what is consciousness, and the concept shebashi demi du sum sum.
가사대 되면 뒤시대. 셰버트 되면 뒤시대. 그 주스기를 이제는 주시긴 다 잡고 봐.
유진의 숨소인배 강사 셰버 되면
라메.
네. So the first person, the definition of person, as you see on page 307, is a person is the mere I that is imputed in dependence upon its basis of imputation, which are either the 5 mental and physical aggregates or the 4 aggregates. So, so the person is simply labeling or designation that is given or imputed upon the gathering of 5, aggregates or 4 aggregates, 5 in the desire and form realms, and 4 aggregates in the formless realm. So this is also mentioned in the root text of the Tenets, as we mentioned before. The text, the scripture says that the phenomena doesn't exist from its own side. They don't exist self-sufficiently or from its own side. Rather, they exist simply, by designation, by designation or labeling, by names or conceptual thoughts. Also, same point mentioned in the engaging in the middle way path. The phenomena exist simply at the level of designation or imputation, and in the engaging in the middle way path, the example used is the chariot. In order to when you try to find the chariotness on the chariot itself, you won't be able to find it. 2 horses in the front, then wheel and the cart at the back. And when everything puts together, and then we give a label or the designation, and then it becomes chariot. So this is a really kind of important and, as you know, very unique assertion of the middle way consequence school when they try to identify who and what the person is. So, obviously they are saying here that the things doesn't exist the way it appears to us, and the things appears to us as if they exist, self-sufficiently from their own side, independently. But that is not the case in reality. In reality, things exist simply at the level of designation or imputation, and this here actually is the interdependence of interdependence of designation or labeling, and which is considered as the most subtlest concept of interdependence in the middle way consequence schools.
주진 공부지나 잘능이야 매바데 낭바다 사이스방에 직접 잘 거. 직접 세나 라야 매바데 주진 공부 하나 봐 봐 저기 합도는 둘을 두고 둘을 봐 저기나 둘 참을 두고 둘이 양가를 두고 둘이 양가를 제로이나 다 초기 참에서 됐대 사실 체명에 합분이 배 지주 이런 원장 개발 가르치고 말해 공부 사이언스 파기 단다 하 쟤나 라야 메바 라야 민두스데 랍고르데 요상데 제시가 말해 tapi 요상데 점된디 공바 공부루도 있다 상기 강당 다와다 파다 코나서 가르스무슨 랑위 내장 민제 파라라스 민마 자sam기 파 도베 파 샤샤바 따가랑데 마텔라 요상지요 말 타니 또다 삼기 덴델 디기 라지 요상지요 말죠 따티 숨거와 이다 나페 투모 마인 베테간 자케지 뜬거 따티 오는 단에 공부루도다 상기 강당 다와다 파기 점된데 공부 타르도도 따티 니바레 따티 디숨거 시징 디 공부 타르도도 때레
And this is also the ultimate concept or the essence of the Perfection of Wisdom Sutra. And when we try to find the things or object or phenomena, especially here we are talking about a physical object. It becomes sort of common to both, science and Buddhism. When you try to find, the object on the object itself, you won't be able to find it. It's unfindable. When you try to analyze the object or phenomena or things, ultimately it goes down to the atomic particles and subatomic particles and partless, atomic particles, and so sort of same, process of analysis in both science and Buddhism. But in scientific understanding, they know that things doesn't, exist as it appears to be, but they doesn't know, sort of the other side. Then how does things or phenomena exist? And that the things that how phenomena exist was then sort of presented in Buddhism or Buddha Shakyamuni, starting by Buddha Shakyamuni to Nagarjuna, Chandrakirti, Buddha Palita, and in essence, what they presented, how things exist, and that existence, as we said before, is simply or merely a designation, or imputation by a conceptual thought, and this is very unique to Buddhist understanding of how things or phenomena exist in reality.
Yamgorum Buchigi, Lojong Tige Magi, Pagi, Ti Tamade, Tigan Yabade, Gumbata de Galati, Tangi de Yotade, she was several Sulus, cannot only Toranchigina, and it teach Yani and Yenda Pendoyos, Nitchimachinichi Lapsin.
So, His Holiness explains very detailed about how things or phenomena simply exist at the level of designation, especially when he explains, the 8-point training of the mind. When he explains the 8th stanza of this short text, then he goes into very detail, how things or phenomena simply exist at the level of designation by conceptual thoughts and, naming. Usually said he couldn't explain that level of precision, and so it should be helpful if you want to understand more detail or in depth. You should listen to like this teaching of His Holiness.
Penisiba Penta Grace. That one, then Zambuli Nala, Nambil Tawatel and Paptungi, Jordan Chocola, Suji Yomaris. Tanda, Suji Jundanala, Lamaki Butamba Mangboyore, the Geshe, Yinding and Mangboyore, 겨울무지 공라다 수진 두사야 말했어. 인데 겨울무지 수 닝기나 이 주된 준비 오늘 가서 두두 그런 게 뒤지니 규비어래. 그래서 지 양양도 지 삼로 당기나 삼타에 당사지 라그레스 성도
Also, the teachings given by His Holiness on emptiness, and if you listen to those teachings, should be really helpful, because presently, His Holiness is the only scholar and the Buddhist scholars who can explain very kind of precisely, in-depth understanding about emptiness. Philosophy or concept, although there are many lamas or rinpoches and geshes, and Tubden Jimba, His Holiness translator, does his best, in order to kind of present a correct translation of His Holiness teaching. So, the more you listen, the more you think about His Holiness teachings, you will get something that is kind of meaningful or something that is appreciated.
근데 나라요 레스로와 지 야보 용다 마요 야보 찌다 마체신데 젤라라래요 마랑 게요래 랑 게인데 랑 장보 제지다 랑 야보지 용긴 되기나 용산 되겠더라 로 삼로다 로는 교왔다 남이 에네베 차소 영원도 마셔로지네 이게 하게 직 세미나 뉴모베 영원도 마셔나 셈지데 생데 그거래 셈지데 좋아이나 루이 남규리나 루이기 군저이나 군저 상포딩와에 깨지게다 말했어.
So how much you understand the text or scripture or concept, it depends entirely upon on yourself. The responsibility is all yours. So if you study these great texts and scriptures, then of course you'll be able to understand and put into practice and change your mind, and through that you can change yourself. So it depends entirely upon your own effort, your own responsibility, and if you manage to stay free from the power or influence of delusions or afflictions or negative mentalities, you will have a more peaceful and happier mind, and through that comes the calm or happy or good physical expressions and the physical gestures, and so therefore it depends on your own effort.
다 로라 체마다 체민기 롱이시기도 다 체마 싱데 간데지고 서도 밀리비디 봐 율도 발라 마너와 마툴와 동이 율레네 베 서도 인데긴지 체마시고래 다티 용이나 체마 율린 가자디야 템포 요아메파 장부 주고 왔다 양부 주고 왔다 다 세민싱인들로데 롤록시 출시 야니 지 툴데게 야니 디부니 툴데게 간지 에 마루어지데 차디요 아티 단디처럼 알아서 유기셰바 망체 출시 차디요 망체 렌진레디요 데낭글레디요 데리인데가 출시 차디요 다테 매존체니 매졸라테니 아니 출시데 세명모도 교보라 담보 된지고 되니까 나정호송을 그려도 다 니다바도 나정호송 라메도 나정호송 동이도 나정호송 교보다 동이도 나정호송데 다 하비기다 님자 이실터위나 뭐 출라래 대난글려 말에 계산송은 나게 니랑 탐제 누디요래 다 소수 유익이 미다부터 돈이 맞아지 미다바다 간사다 다음에도 나정 무슨이나 소수 유익이 대대로 렌진 케어 말와 렌진 맞고야 되가라 디 소수 유익이 나정 무슨 레디 디 출시를 되요 렌진이 잡아도 와 제자 나랑 좀 로데 장야도 와 렌진 장야 유명이 로지 만장 맞은 대바이나 나랑 추경으로 와 어때도 고마지 거래 다디 망보 주진다는 점 믿었어. 어떻게 되지? 같이 데블로스로와 낸도스치네. 전당 엄마든 직 로 세민시디갈라 로트루와 로노르데킨 로 템보멘데니 세마싱데 로 마노르와 로 장나니 베 텐디기엔 베로 템보인데니 일 가르치 토바이나 겐데기 텐디징와 이차고
And we also went through the awareness. Awareness is page 308. And according to Consequence School, there are two types: valid and non-valid awareness. So the valid awareness basically refers to cognitive mind, which is not deluded or misconceived. And non-valid basically refers to the mistaken or deluded, awarenesses, and under that comes the truth grasping or appearance, truth, the appearance of the truth appearance. So when you possess a valid cognitive mind or awarenesses, the practitioner also becomes valid practitioner, and when practitioner possess more of the non-valid cognitive cognitions, the practitioner also becomes more kind of deluded or more misconceptions. So so what we can see here, looking at these different types of awarenesses, is that if we make an effort, definitely we can transform and change our mind or our awarenesses. So, we begin with the, when we try to perceive things, we begin with the, what we call a generic image of the things, and then, we can transform that into yogic direct perceptions. And when you attain the yogic direct perception, whatever you perceive becomes, definite. There is no misconception. There is no illusion, and there are many different levels. Yogic direct perception, related to impermanence, selflessness, and also yogic direct perceptions of emptiness. When practitioner attains this, emptiness, yogic direct perception, there is no duality. We mentioned this before, dual appearances. So most of awarenesses that we possess at this level, ordinary human being, are non-valid or mistaken, and because, as we mentioned before, it's tainted by appearance of truth appearance. So whenever we perceive things, we don't perceive basically correctly or valid. It is always tainted, misconception. So so what is important is, since there is a mind transformation is possible, in order to make that happen, we need to study more, basically, try to read more and gain more understanding of the true nature of the things and phenomena.
다음에 탐 간사게 다음에 취기 다음에 쓰긴데 동시간이 자그마도 가지간이 개발 자그마레스 이 강사게 상도 자기 공부 강사 가지 공부지는 답에 나한테 강사라서 이 상도 니 니루 덴버메 받대 강사게 담에다 아니 이 풍속의 상도 근데 니루 덴버메 받 추기 담에 자그레 스타티 개발 자그레 어떤 두시 개발 이따 땡큐 투모만 버지 때 연구하레스
And assertions on the paths, page 315 if you have a textbook, objects of observation of the paths. And here the unique assertion of this particular school, consequent school, is that true selflessness is, selflessness of person and phenomena. When you look from the perspective of the nature of emptiness, there is no differences at all. Both possess the same nature of emptiness. That the only difference is the basis or the foundation. If the emptiness is based upon a person, that is called the emptiness of person. If the emptiness is based upon other than person, other object, it's called emptiness of phenomena. So this is a unique assertion, regarding the two different types of emptiness of person and of phenomena.
lamgi phanje kabdu dela kareyong gore sidiwala zinzinde nyundib reza zinzing nyundib tundu reza e tumo mai bachi chagoreya zinzing nyundib de thangwara mado rangyu momenje zinzing nyundib de mare shedu de gore zinzing nyundib de zinzing pa ta shitib karana zinzing pa cha da chawa te wang ju tu sum sabon de chawa ni shitib resa suda sum sabon de chawa zinzing ngo thadin bitima kinda kesa 시티브기 디바탄소 딘진 연두 도고 가르잖아. 배제전다 나랑기 단디는 님무드 돈다리 제로 타메나 딘진 연두 데비 치르세데 디수르 마도 더고 디르시니 배제 통만이 와. 요 말에서네 님마토는 메비 캬바다 요 말와. 소지 통만이 오래. 원장 계산 냄산 뒤와지 레디가라 또스 가보도와. 다 파기니 즉 빵장 방줄라 삼로지 땅 바이나 다다 라트니 용구도 이 문에 된다 전부도 빵자 방줄가라 디양 리니 방자 방줄라 삼땅이나 미시베 서로 자기도 야제기야 담바 덴징이 좀 레세 랍나 랍린 초가 차대요 제장 남바 상게 비중데 상이 일룽당 ini ripasina ripata choche guare sangi gilung ina ripata galgi na ti gomba jenda tar go na mato ti sangi lung zere uju geya yo mare otte ti indugala ha tanda di ripata tata phagi panja panju banda samta inde ripata tata thunguare panja panju ringi panja pang indugala kare pangure 사탕분이 사둠바 버도 마타 서든지 민마 마타 서든지 거래 시진디비 따요 말에 녀모 빈디바 따요 말에 녀모 빈디바 사게바 버도 빵겨래 사게바니 시진디바 방향 고점 거래 제자 다때 삼나네 렌지 셰투든 도베이나 사게바 만니 렌지 도금 빵기미도 렌지 마바나 사탕분은 통람 통금이도 디규젠도 제자 양니 렌지 마바 동이 떠서 거와 동이 제인 마케 동이 떠서 거자 땡가 들어와 어두 리바 상도 땅에도 왔대 뭐니 벤도도 리니 반자 반주니 상담 땅땅 땅사도 이쪽은 야버리
돈이도 가르쳐 말아서 타마를 가르 게도 컨데스도 게도 또 주스
게도데 사게파니타 제니 시리파양 고점 거와 그 린진이 시트블 더베이나 사게파버도 마삼 답하기 린진 마파 오구라 린진 마파나 돈이 돈에 린진 마파지 린진 윈 질 마케 지자고다 티 가보도 돈이도 사담분 또 거와 제가 사계반에 린지 순 진짜 요말 성공을 도저도 린지 순 징그러워 이게 된 도스 린이 바바 반자반들 삼다면
Next, the objects abandoned by the paths. What are the objects of abandonment? According to this consequence school. One of the unique assertion here is, as you know, there are two objects of abandonment. Obscuration to liberation and obscuration to enlightenment, or another way of saying is delusive obscuration and wisdom obscuration. And here, Middle Way Consequence School asserts that consciousness conceiving a true existence, they consider this as an obstruction to liberation or delusive obscuration. And it's the last sentence of page 315. And the latencies of the conception of true existence, the mistaken appearance of duality which arises through their influence and the taints of apprehending the true truths as the different entities are asserted to be the obstruction of omniscience. So, including the seed of the three poisons and their latencies are all considered as the wisdom obscuration or obscuration to enlightenment. So here's the last time Steve brought this question. How does or why consciousness conceiving true existence is an obstruction to liberation? In the textbook, it only says that, as you see in the text, consciousness conceiving a true existence is an obstruction to liberation. It doesn't further explains why and how. And so Gajal said he didn't, he didn't see this explanation in other texts or scriptures. But it doesn't mean that there is no explanation. If he haven't seen it, it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. Of course, there are a lot of things that exist, but he doesn't know, or he haven't seen. But as mentioned before, if you think from the perspective of, we mentioned this last time also, definite family lineage or family type of Mahayana practitioner, and how they abandoned their object of abandonment, then when you look from that understanding, this really makes a sense. Consciousness conceiving true existence is the obstruction to liberation. So generally in Buddhism, when you try to prove something, we use sort of two approaches. The first one is based on scriptures, and then second is use logical or analytical processes. And from these two, the second is more important than the first one. Analysis, logical analysis is more important. So if something is proven through scriptures, and if it contradicts logic or evidence, then the logical understanding should be considered as the ultimate kind of concept instead of scriptures. So we shouldn't be kind of blind, out of blind faith. We shouldn't be kind of insisting that this is correct because it says in the scriptures. The more important is, how can you prove that through using logic or analysis or reasoning. And so when we look at the definite family type or lineage of the Mahayana practitioner, what we know is, from ground 1st to ground 7, ground 1st to ground 7 are called seventh impure ground. And what practitioner does is from ground first to seven, they abandon from the true obscuration, they abandon the first one, that is obscuration to liberation or delusive obscuration. And then from ground 8, they start eliminating the second obscuration, that is obscuration to enlightenment or wisdom obscuration. So if consciousness conceiving a true existence is not an obstruction to liberation, then if the consciousness conceiving true existence is shedib kharsang le shedib denzin na
denzin shedib mai nyundim shedib mai na nyundim de dugi na ta pangja pangja
so if consciousness conceiving a true existence is in a wisdom obscuration or obscuration to enlightenment, then it contradicts what is mentioned in that this series of, or the sequence of the object of abandonment, because we know once the practitioner attained the first bhumi or first ground, the practitioner has already attained the understanding of the emptiness, and it could be kind of very sort of conflicting or contradictory. There would be a practitioner who has gained or achieved understanding of emptiness, yet not able to eliminate obstruction to liberation or delusive obscuration. So Vijay said that when he asked that question, at the first moment or the first response, it's kind of difficult to kind of think deeper. But the question is really it's a really good question. So so when you look at kind of how definite lineage or family type of the Mahayana practitioners eliminate or abandon their object of abandonment, especially looking through the sequences of 10 grounds, then from that understanding we will know how and why consciousness conceiving true existence is an obstruction to liberation or delusive obscuration. And as said before, from the scripture citation and or logical analysis, from these two, the second one is more important. So to further kind of support this point, Lama Tsongkhapa has mentioned in his text definite enumeration that if a practitioner follows concept or philosophy which contradicts logical analysis, then that practitioner is not considered as a valid practitioner, or is not considered as a standard practitioner.
린지 시도 잡아이나 다 양걸도 때니 지금 오도 오만 보내 오다 상당히만 망보라고도 빼펜도 도 누스 삼양양도 땅보다 뺏게 좀 버렸어 나도 디와 마타나 삼로 걸고 그럽니다 디와 되는 땅에는 삼당을 뺀다고 봐 데미데 방송 치기도
Also, middleweight consequence school asserts that lesser vehicle practitioner, hearers and solitary realizers, they also, they also gains the understanding of emptiness or selflessness of phenomena. And generally, when we look at the two types of, obscuration or obstruction to liberation and obstruction to enlightenment, what these two does, as said in the word itself, the first obstruction, delusive obscuration or obstruction, is the obstruction to attain liberation or nirvana, while the second obstruction or obscuration, wisdom obscuration, kinds of obstruct to attain enlightenment. So these two have a different kind of ways of obstruct. These two obstruct two different basically objective. One is liberation and one is enlightenment. So when you think from that perspective, we can also know that consciousness conceiving a true existence is an obstruction to liberation, not obstruction to omniscience. So the more you think from different kind of understanding, different logical approach, the better it is kind of helpful in understanding. So Geshe-la is asking, Soroti to understand why consciousness conceiving true existence is an obstruction to liberation or delusive obscuration. Exactly. Consciousness conceiving a true existence. Obstruction to liberation. It says page 315 if you have a textbook. It's the last, second last sentence. Consciousness conceiving a true existence is an obstruction to liberation. And so, Geshe-la is explaining why this is obstruction to liberation, not obstruction to enlightenment.
Nyerang Tony Toyo Dugala, Nyerangi, Ranzing Jin Member Sunchungro, Ranzin Petke, Pang Machadua, Kegirwa. Ta Ishitivina, Sangi Tijin Tapagi, Shiti Mava Bartu, Ti Dinzi Jil Ketu Marwa, Shitibi Lajana, Shitivina, Shiti Mang Betajko. 거기 년랑라 주기 다음에 또 인도라 렌진 캐도 왔어. 문인진이 렌진 배트가 진 순층인데 형이 또 별로 들어마고 될라요 말와. 투사 때 두고.
So consciousness conceiving a true existence is an obstruction to liberation. So once you attain the emptiness, then you doesn't possess this consciousness conceiving a true existence anymore. And so this consciousness conceiving a true existence, the another word for this word, the I use word truth grasping. The Tibetan word is denzin. Dian means true, and truth. Jin means grasping, truth grasping, instead of consciousness conceiving a true existence. So truth grasping. So truth grasping is obstruction to liberation. Is not obstruction to omniscience. So because there another reason is once you attain the understanding of emptiness, you can eliminate this truth grasping. Truth grasping doesn't exist anymore.
다 하고서 되나니. 딘신 진 순증인데 손이 더 별로도. 손이 운숨도 더 있는데 진 순증도 알아. 그때 진 nembrze be denzi kedo wa gün me charo wa neje chari ore pe.
So direct realization of the emptiness is the understanding. When you gain this understanding, it eliminates this truth grasping consciousness. So once you attain the direct realization of emptiness, truth grasping doesn't exist anymore, within that same consciousness, because these two are contradictory.
제가 나와 더 문바 전에 지체네. 나와 내 용도 문바 계기도 와. 내제를 들어. 제가 내제 있는데 안 데메 가자 덴진 제일 순 맞좀 봐도 돈이 무슨 또 떠트고 한 말이야. 이 하게 덴진 데머즈메 덴진 제일 순진이다 돈이 무슨 떠고 와. 돈이 무슨 떠 덴진 빠와다. 나차 봐. 이 인디가라다 니랑 라인이 배 돈이 떠봐 여디가라 제사 타바터비 탈빈가에 마도 상기 고반투에 가 차금이도 렌진데 타바투 빈게.
So wisdom realizing emptiness and the truth grasping basically are two exact opposite kind of understanding. It is like light and darkness. These two cannot coexist. Together. If there's a light, what it means is there's no darkness. When there's a darkness, what it also says is that there's no light. So these two are kind of opponent forces. So once you realize or attain the direct realization of emptiness, you also attained the realization that there is no object of the truth grasping consciousness, because the truth grasping object or the target get disappeared. It doesn't exist anymore once you attain the understanding of emptiness. So therefore wisdom realizing emptiness, once you attain that emptiness understanding or realization, you eliminate the obstruction to liberation. Basically you attain nirvana. You didn't attain enlightenment. Enlightenment is still kind of so. So therefore, truth grasping is considered as the obstruction to liberation, not obstruction to enlightenment.
아티 군에 되는 저 돈다리 저거는 개보스나 셰럽기토리 민다와 메테 아발라 추기다면 무슨 또 잡아 켈리 치르스 장교를 쓰고 와. 아빠스디가라 니랑 바바 아니 닌 대진 바바 순가다 닌데 바바랑 이제 바바 대진 바바 순가라 추기다면 무슨 또 켈리 치르스 돈이 무슨 또 켈리 거래 쓰고 와. 아티 인디가라다 딘진 민지도 맞아나 시득지야 땐 자원인 민들이 샤서 아지 방자방주 링이 방자방주리 삼다나 디기도 디가라니 토리고니 삼다나 디기도 빼트게 미디어 기는 미디어 다 대다다 용도 계란도 양양도 삼당 것도 깨진 버리지.
It is also mentioned in the text 316 that the middle of the text, middle paragraph, the nature of the paths, the second sentence, the three vehicles do not have a different types of wisdom because the consequentialist assert that all superiors directly cognize the selflessness of phenomena or the understanding of emptiness. So according to consequent school, it doesn't matter what vehicles that practitioners belong. The superiors or arhat of any vehicle can attain this direct realization of selflessness of phenomena or emptiness. So as said before, looking from how the definite family type or lineages attained the different levels of ground, and also the another reason we mentioned before, also here the consequent school mentioned about three vehicles do not have a different types of wisdom. So if they have the same wisdom, then lesser vehicles practitioner also needs to attain the understanding of emptiness. So looking from saying that practitioners attain emptiness but do not eliminate truth grasping is kind of contradictory. So it totally kind of contradicts or conflicts the logical analysis. So therefore looking from these different ways we can understand that why consequent school asserts that truth grasping or consciousness conceiving a true existence is an obstruction to liberation and not obstruction to enlightenment. Page 315, the second part of the object abandoned by the paths. What we discussed before is the obstruction to liberation or delusive obscuration. The second obstruction or obstruction to enlightenment or wisdom obscurations. For that, a consequent school says that the latencies of the conception of true existence, the mistaken appearances of duality which arise through their influence, and the taints of apprehending the true truths as a different entities are asserted to be the obstruction to omniscience. So these all comes under the second types of obscuration or obstructions, and in order to eliminate or abandon this obstruction, it also require much more effort. The example we mentioned before is the subtle obstruction is like trying to remove the odor or smell of the garlic from the pestle. So if you need to have more time, need to make more effort as compared to just taking out the garlic. The cleaning garlic smell is much more kind of needs much more effort. We'll take a break here.